Imagine being an indigenous elder in the modern world, having lived your life only to realize that your grandchildren and the coming generations will not speak your language or even know their cultural heritage. What could this mean for humankind? Our modern world has provided immense societal benefits, but a globalized world like ours is causing the loss of cultures, the loss of ancestral knowledge. It is estimated that up to 90% of all languages may be lost by the end of this century, leading to the erosion of our ethnosphere. The ethnosphere is a term coined by a great anthropologist and ethnobotanist named Wade Davis. It is defined as the sum total of all thoughts and intuitions, myths and beliefs, ideas and inspirations brought into being by the human imagination since the dawn of consciousness.
If there's one lesson of anthropology, it's the idea that the world into which you were born is just one model of reality, and the other peoples of the world don't represent failed attempts at being you. They represent unique answers to a fundamental question: what does it mean to be human and alive?
Indigenous cultures around the world are critical to the well being of our planet. All of the species of the Earth and their ecosystems constitute the biosphere, which provides life supporting services. The ethnosphere is the anthropological equivalent of the biosphere, which contains the myriad cultures and their complex belief systems, which provide alternative models of human life itself. The term indigenous means naturally occurring in a particular place or native. Indigenous peoples who have successfully adapted to their environments have adopted cultural practices which work with nature rather than against her. The long-term survival of any species depends on the health of its environment, and this is why one of the core indigenous philosophies is to be responsible caretakers or stewards of the land.
É da terra que a gente produz o nosso alimento, é da terra que a gente alimenta os nossos filhos, é da terra, né, que a gente tira as nossas medicinas, nossos remédios, né? Então a gente sobrevive da terra.
Indigenous people all over the world comprise less than 5% of the global population, but they protect 80% of the global biodiversity. Therefore, protecting the ethnosphere is equivalent to protecting the biosphere. So here's a map from Global Forest Watch to show exactly what I mean. What I see is the extent of the indigenous territories in Brazil. Now we need to make visible the tree cover loss in and around the indigenous territories. So I click on the layer called tree cover loss and switch it on. We can clearly see that there's a lot of deforestation around these territories, primarily due to farming and road building. But when I switch off the land rights layer and the territories are no longer visible, we can see that the places where the tree cover loss is minimal are exactly where the land rights of indigenous peoples are protected. This is absolutely evidence that the Amazon has indigenous tribes who are the best conservationists of their land. They know their surroundings extremely well. They know their ecology, they know every plant, every animal that lives in their surroundings because they directly depend on them. Unfortunately, being indigenous in today's world is often a struggle just to stay alive. Corporate and government interests have often tried to eradicate indigenous peoples from their own territory. The story of indigenous groups across the world varies across space and across time, but one theme ties all of them together, and that is oppression.
La historia de los pueblos indígenas es la historia de la violencia, la historia del despojo, es la historia de los desencuentros entre una sociedad extractivista, mercantilista y capitalista. Expoliar la madre naturaleza, violar los derechos humanos, violar los derechos colectivos y sin respetar la consulta previa, el consentimiento previo. Es el choque de las civilizaciones, una civilización que busca intereses economicistas y la otra que busca defender sus derechos. Derecho a la vida, derecho a la suma causa y al buen vivir, derecho a la dignidad, derecho a la supervivencia.
Our consumer-based fossil fuel economy has decimated many indigenous landscapes. The extraction of oil from indigenous lands polluted rivers and lands which people depend on. This has not only affected the environment but also the health and rights of the people living there.
Sin embargo, no se da cuenta el citadino, las grandes metrópolis, las grandes corporaciones nacionales y transnacionales, que al destruir a los pueblos indígenas está destruyendo la ecología. Está lanzándose al precipicio, al despeñadero.
In Central and South America, deforestation of tropical rainforests continue for extractive activities such as gold mining, oil drilling, palm oil plantations, growing soy, and even raising cattle. The industrial mindset which drives monocultures, whether it be in agriculture or extraction, is leading to the death of landscapes which people depend on.
Esse mal que acontece dentro tanto do Brasil como da América Latina contra os nossos territórios, contra a nossa natureza, que isso acabe, né? Porque a gente preserva tanto esses territórios não só para nossa sobrevivência, mas para a sobrevivência do mundo inteiro.
Indigenous resistance to these extractive projects has been significantly successful. They have prevented almost 1 billion tons of carbon emissions per year. Therefore, securing indigenous land rights benefits all life on Earth. It benefits the land, biodiversity, and even prevents emissions, which leads to the mitigation of climate change.
Índio não existe sem terra. Índio não existe sem sua cultura. Índio não existe sem sua língua. Índio não existe sem sua tradição própria. E tudo isso está enraizado na nossa mãe terra.
We often see humans as destructive to life on Earth, and frankly, we have been, especially since the Industrial Revolution. Some environmentalists have even compared the human species to cancer cells or viruses, destroying our planet. However, this has never been the norm throughout the evolutionary history of humankind. Indigenous cultures offer alternative and sustainable models of human life, which we can learn from. As we have seen, successful indigenous peoples who have adapted to their environments see themselves as caretakers of their lands and biodiversity. They treat nature as a teacher and learn from it and see the earth as a mother.
Então é isso, é convidar todos os povos, convidar para se juntar nessa luta junto dos povos indígenas e das comunidades tradicionais contra esses projetos que são destruidores da vida.
We need to respect indigenous cultures and support them in the fight against corporate interests. If you want to dive into this topic, I recommend learning from impactful organizations such as Indigenous Environmental Network, Indigenous Phenology Network, Cultural Survival, 350.org, Pachamama Alliance, and Survival International, among many others. Also, if you would like to learn which indigenous lands you live on, you can visit this website called nativeland.ca. And you can see a map where indigenous territories are laid out. You can click on any of them, and then you can click a link to the nation name and find websites related to the information regarding that indigenous nation. So I highly recommend checking out Native Land Digital. All of the links to these organizations, as well as the references I used for creating this video, can be found in the video description below, so please check them out. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button. It really makes a difference for us YouTubers. Share this video with more people. Hit that subscribe button below for a lot more informative videos on environmental topics coming up. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm very grateful for your time and energy, and I hope to see you soon on a new video.